Hi everyone and welcome to TNT. It's a wild old morning out here, but about as much wind as we'll ever get. I'm thinking that probably about 25 knots of gusts coming through. Well, that's about as gusty as it does get here in the southern island of Phuket. But we're going to be talking about the army today and some suggestions to bring the Thai army kicking and screaming into the 21st century. Also a few foreigners behaving badly. All that coming up in today's TNT. Indeed, a wet, wild and woolly day. Yeah, we have a few occasionally stronger wind bursts coming through, but this is pretty much as strong as it gets. I think we're expecting this poor weather until at least tomorrow. Hopefully you're okay wherever you are today. And good to have you with us. Let's start with an oil spill. Heading to Sirasha, the Bangkok Post reporting oil leak off Sirasha. Cleanup started. A pipeline ruptured when oil was being pumped from a tanker at a jetty off Sirasha in Chonburi province. But the spill has been confined and the slick mapped and the cleanup started. Wouldn't you think that we might have found a better way to stop oil from leaking, just simply pumping it from a ship into a terminal in 2023? And let's name and shame the oil company involved, the Thai Oil Public Company. And according to a Thai oil announcement, while Arab light crude was being transferred from a tanker at Single Buoy Mooring 2, a pipeline ruptured about 9 p.m. This was on Sunday night. And the pipeline valve was closed and buoys laid around the spot to contain the spill in line with international standards. The leak has been stopped. Yesterday morning, a drone was flown over the scene and detected an oil slick about 5 kilometres long. The Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Office at Chonburi was informed, and the Pollution Control Department said an estimated 50 to 70 cubic metres of crude had leaked into the sea. The company had been given permission to use 6,000 litres of dispersant to break up the slick. And using the oil map modelling system, the slick was expected to reach the Koh Tai and Kang Khao Islands in the Ao Udom area, and probably also the Wong Napa Beach in Chonburi. I'm continually surprised by these oil spillages in this day and age. We hear about them every 3 or 4 months. And they all seem to happen up in that same area of the Gulf of Thailand off the Sirasha and Chonburi province. Moving on to our next story and another follow-up, and this from ThaiExaminer.com. New visa regime planned for Chinese tourists will see more criminal elements entering Thailand. And the Immigration Bureau has also expressed concerns about queues and pressures at Suvarnabhumi Airport caused by the large numbers of Chinese arrivals expected to avail of visa-free travel. And senior officers have been calling for special lanes for Chinese tourists and promised to provide 200 more staff to cope with the demand. So let's just dial this down a bit, because we do want to stop criminal elements coming out of any country. And that includes China, which have fed a lot of the tourism market over the past 10 years in Thailand. But even if you doubled the number of Chinese arriving in Thailand at the moment, that would be about what we were getting back in 2019. So let's just dial down the rhetoric a little bit here. And it's accepted, says the article, even by police, that a new policy ordered by the incoming Thai government to offer visa-free access to Chinese visitors from October the 1st will see more criminal elements from China entering the kingdom. Yesterday, senior officers with the Immigration Bureau flew to China to meet with police and security officials there to help minimise the threat from October the 1st. So this article seems to be saying that this new visa-free arrival for Chinese passengers would start from October the 1st, noting that there are already 68 countries that can arrive visa-free in Thailand. Then this headline, correlation between Chinese visitor numbers entering Thailand and levels of crime being seen in Bangkok, according to the capital's police force. It says the crime outbreak earlier this year resulted in a series of shocking cases that were widely publicised in the People's Republic of China, leading to negative coverage of Thailand and indeed a social network campaign launched among netizens warning the Chinese public not to visit the kingdom for fear of being kidnapped or murdered. fear-mongering, fake news and disinformation being stoked in China against visiting Thailand. Well, it's starting to sort of veer into tabloid territory, but let's proceed. Now, this meeting with Chinese officials would be to put in place robust measures to protect against the dangers posed by the new visa-free regime. And then Thai economy is nosediving with the fragile recovery threatened as exports and earnings plummet. The move to boost tourism numbers is coming at a time when the Thai economic recovery is stalling, with the current account deficit in July reported at $445 million, US dollars I assume, and a massive 6.2% reduction in exports not being able to be corrected by the country's ability to earn tourism income, and foreign exchange, which is already impeded because the market for foreign tourism in the country has become more focused on Asian visitors who spend less. Well, there's plenty to unpack there. Firstly, the flights. Obviously, there's been an increase in Asian tourism because more Asian people are travelling within Asia, because the flights for long haul are just becoming exorbitant. A lot of people simply can't afford those. When it comes to the comment about Asian visitors spending less, well, that's a bit of a furphy. In fact, Chinese visitors per day, per diem, spend more than most other visitors, but they stay for a much shorter time. And most Chinese visitors will stay in Thailand, you might be surprised, only 2 to 4 days. Where, of course, some of the longer haul markets, people from the UK, Europe, the US, Australia, they do come for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, so they end up spending more. And then the article finishes by saying, nevertheless, on Monday, it was accepted that the new visa-free regime would undoubtedly allow more criminals and those associated with the Chinese grey capital to enter the kingdom from October the 1st until the new visa-free dispensation ends. Well, I haven't heard any official report about Chinese being able to arrive in Thailand visa-free from October the 1st, but this article basically painting it as a fait accompli. And moving on to our next story today, BangkokPost.com reporting military reform will go ahead. So certainly in the lead up to the campaign on May the 14th, both the Per Thai Party and the Move Forward Party, amongst others, were talking about military reform. And people on the conservative side of the Thai government, the ones who were in power, and some of them now in the current coalition, were not very happy about. The military reform will go ahead, says the story, with conscription to be gradually phased out and the armed forces expected to be much leaner within 4 years. This from the new Defence Minister, Sutin Klungsang. He says they're planning to replace conscription with the voluntary enlistment. He said salary increases and better welfare benefits could be incentives to encourage people to join up, while negative public perceptions about the military that see young men avoiding conscription could also be addressed. And the Defence Minister said cases of brutality in training resulting in injuries or even deaths are rare, but when they happen they draw a lot of attention. However, he said the number of conscripts can also be cut as long as it does not affect the armed forces missions. He also said the move to cut the number of generals to make the forces leaner will go ahead. The new minister said he expects attempts to downsize the forces would materialise in 4 years. Now, this line is pretty important, though. He's yet to discuss reform details with the top brass. We'll find out in just a moment. He has indeed met the top brass, but this story goes on to say on the Navy's plan to use a Chinese-made CHD 620 engine instead of a German-made one for its submarine being assembled in China. Mr. Sutin said he would straighten out the issue after the oath-taking ceremony and government policy statements in Parliament. The oath-taking ceremony will be today at the other palace, and the policy statement in Parliament, I believe, will be on Friday. But speaking about the army, the new Prime Minister, Sitatawi Sin, said the army needs to promote its good deeds more, according to the new Premier. One day after His Majesty the King endorsed the new cabinet, Sita and his newly appointed Defence Minister met top military brass at Bangkok's Rosewood Hotel on Sunday for lunch. And present at the luncheon were the next Chief of the Royal Thai Armed Forces, the next Royal Thai Army Chief, and the next Navy Chief. It says the soon-to-be Air Force chief was absent. He was attending to duties outside Thailand. So indeed, sounds like they have met with these new generals, and will be interesting to see how legislation will be treated by this coalition, which includes a lot of old generals and army supporting MPs in those two coalition member parties which were part of the last regime. The story says that Sita said the army had accomplished a lot of good work. He said, "We need to admit that the military has done many good deeds that have not been widely publicised." So the new Prime Minister saying all the right things, and part of coup-proofing Thailand in the future will be good relations between the elected parliamentarians and the army. So I think he's going about this the right way. Let's keep talking. Oh, by the way, a big thank you to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine. Now, if you haven't signed up for the day on October the 7th, a free day out, it's a birthday bash. It's all to raise money for Living Waters Phuket, the largest charity here in Phuket. Now, there are some spots still available. I think there's about 14 boats heading out. They've already sold out, I think, 8 boats. I'm on one of the boats, so it would be great to see you if you are on the island at that time. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to find out details of that day out and how you can be donating to Living Waters Phuket. Turning to some other stories in TNT today, and Nation Thailand reporting global sugar prices to surge as drought hit India, set to ban exports. The Commerce Ministry has aired concerns about a surge in global sugar prices after India announced it will ban sugar exports for the upcoming production season starting in October. It says that India, one of the world's top sugar producers and exporters, is grappling with drought. In the 2022-2023 production season, the Indian government permitted the export of 6.1 million tonnes of sugar, but with India's food inflation hitting 11.5%, or the highest in 3 years, the government's been prompted to hold back on allocating export quotas for the upcoming season. India's decision to ban sugar export has pushed global sugar prices to hit a 12-year high. And Thailand's sugar exports in the first 7 months of this year stood at about 5.5 million tonnes. That's up 2.5% compared to the same period last year. So sugar prices set to increase, I think, not only in this country but around the world. Certainly there's been a lot more sugar introduced into the Thai diet over the past 10 to 20 years. I've pretty much tried to eliminate sugar from my diet. Not particularly easy to do because a lot of great Thai food does have a lot of sugar in it. But I'm certainly feeling better getting sugar out of my diet. And correspondingly, of course, I've lost a bit of weight as well, which is a good thing. Let's move on to some stories about some Westerners behaving badly here in Thailand. And coconuts.co, this is their Bangkok edition, reports TikTok teacher Luke Rockwell arrested after sex with a 16-year-old. And police arrested Luke Nathaniel Rockwell, 28, around the Pra Kanong Canal near the Sansiri Backyard Community T77. I think that must be a condo. He was charged with taking a minor over 15 but not over 18 away from parents for indecent purposes as part of Section 319 of the Criminal Code. He faces up to 10 years in prison and fines of up to 20,000 baht. The Southern Bangkok Criminal Court approved a warrant for his arrest. Rockwell admitted to the allegation levied against him, including having sex with a minor and filming the sexual encounter. The mother of the victim told the authorities that her daughter met with Rockwell for sex several times until the girl needed medical treatment related to sexual complications. I think you can translate that as STDs. She filed a report at the Klongtan police station. It was also reported that Rockwell recorded clips of their sexual encounter, which prompted the police to launch an investigation. And coconuts.co reports that the age of consent in Thailand is 15. However, if a sexual encounter occurs with a teen aged 15 to 18 outside the home, it requires parental consent. And a bit more about Mr. Rockwell. Rockwell enjoys a large audience on TikTok with over 1 million followers. His content has previously invited controversy, where in some videos Rockwell has framed racist talking points as educational. A hashtag circulated in 2021 called Cancel Teacher Luke due to videos that were deemed offensive, and a former colleague of Rockwell's told Coconuts last week that Rockwell displayed inappropriate behaviour when he was a teacher, in which he would show colleagues pictures of women he slept with without consent. So this man is entitled to his day in court. Cowside English just with an update. On their Facebook page it says Mr. Luke, an American accused English teacher and TikTok celebrity with over 1.3 million followers, was granted temporary release by the Southern Bangkok Criminal Court in the case of child abuse of a 16-year-old minor, with a bail price of 100,000 baht and an order prohibiting the accused man from leaving the kingdom unless authorised by the court. And the video we used in that story was from TikTok. And we go now to another example of a foreigner behaving badly. This reported in cowsideenglish.com on their website. A Turkish fitness trainer flirts with wealthy Thai women to defraud. And Mr. Onur Gangür, 43, a Turkish citizen, was arrested in the Hua Quang district. And Onur works as a fitness trainer, using his good looks to befriend wealthy female customers in a romantic relationship until the victim falls in love. Following that, he planned his approach to persuade them to bring money to invest in a car maintenance business in Udom Sak, Bangkok. When he obtained the money, he cut off contact before taking it all and fleeing. The police revealed that numerous young women had been duped and the total loss was several million baht. Some others reported it to the police in various towns, while Onur hid in a hotel in the Hua Quang district. And then that doesn't quite make sense. The officers were able to arrest him. He rejected the allegations. So he'll obviously have his day in court as well. Yesterday we were speaking about a British man, a 35-year-old, who was bashed in Pattaya, and somebody wrote in the comments section, "Can't wait to see how the Daily Mail reports this." Well, you don't have to wait too long. The Daily Mail reporting, "Shocking moment, British tourist is beaten to the ground and left with bleeding on the brain after he catcalled a local's girlfriend in Thailand's Sin City, Pattaya." And it's named the man as Stephen Lord, visiting a shop when he started arguing with two Thai men. And a drunk British tourist was savagely attacked by two locals who claimed they were annoyed when he catcalled one of their girlfriends in Thailand's Sin City, Pattaya. And Stephen Lord, 35, visited a convenience store to buy a bag of ice, and it says the heavily intoxicated Brit reportedly began to pester them despite the shopkeeper's attempts to usher him away. And the locals lost their temper when the holiday maker allegedly catcalled one of the men's girlfriends, prompting them to lunge at him and beat him brutally on the pavement. There he is, not looking terribly happy. And the policeman added, the two attackers have confessed and they will be prosecuted. Being drunk is not illegal and does not justify the attack. And then all of this, which has basically been copied and pasted from another story and probably from several stories before then, Thailand's current military government has made efforts to clean up Pattaya after it was dubbed the sex capital of the world and a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah. However, the city's lucrative shadow economy based on sex, crime, drink and drugs has proved difficult to tame in the once sleepy coastal town. Now, this is just word for word from an earlier article. A large number of British expats have also set up bars in the sun-drenched resort, which has become an attractive place for pensioners to retire. So, yes, that was how that story was reported in the Daily Mail, and so that commenter was quite correct. Painted slightly differently from the original story. Now, this also grabbed my attention, reported in lbc.co.uk, using Thailand as a bit of a metaphor for heat. It says the UK to be hotter than Thailand as African plume hits, with warm weather set to stay until October. Well, how warm is warm? Let's find out. Temperatures were set to soar as high as 33 degrees this week as the UK experiences a late summer heatwave. Well, pretty much any day it's between 30 and 32. Sometimes, of course, hotter during the hot season. Today is a very cool day here in Phuket, where it's dropping to a low of 29 degrees. And the return of scorching temperatures will mean Britain is hotter than Thailand, where it's only expected to peak at 30 degrees in the popular resort of Phuket. It would also beat the current UK record for the hottest day of the year, which was recorded at 32.2 degrees in June. Well, I can see why some of the Thai heat is a bit difficult to cope for some of the people coming from the UK, but Thailand being used as a metaphor for what's real heat by that story from lbc.co.uk. Finishing with a happy story today, Nation Thailand reporting special birthday cake for Hippo Mae Mali. And the Khao Kiao Open Zoo in Chonburi's Sirasha district is getting ready to celebrate the 58th birthday of Mae Mali, the oldest hippopotamus in Thailand. And the zoo director said she'll be served a hippo-sized cake filled with her favourite vegetables and fruits, including watermelon, carrot, sweet potato and dragon fruit. And dare I say, if we were all eating a birthday cake like that, we'd all be a lot better off. And Thailand received Mae Mali from the Tilburg Zoo in the Netherlands when she was 1 year old in 1967. She was cared for at the Dusit Zoo in Bangkok before it was closed in 2018 to make way for royal projects. So happy birthday to Mae Mali. Hope you enjoy your birthday cake. And no matter where you are, I hope you enjoy your Tuesday today. Thank you for joining us as we whip around Thailand, checking some of the main stories. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.